Welcome back to Hold My Helmet, your host, Will Reichling. You might ask, why am I clapping? Well, last week I had a very interesting week on this podcast. I made some predictions for the final 2 weeks of the season, who's going to win their division, respectively, and a lot of them were still up in the air. So it was a lot of predictions to make. Probably the most interesting prediction that I made was that I predicted the Packers would lose to the Ravens, and the Steelers would lose to the Browns to set up for a Week 18 matchup for the AFC North between the Ravens and the Steelers. And I got a lot of hate for that. I'm not going to lie. People called me crazy. People called me insane. And we'll start with the Steelers-Browns. People called me crazy. But the Browns being the Steelers really wasn't that crazy. Of course, on paper, it's easy to say that the Steelers were going to beat the Browns. Very easy to say on paper when you look at the two teams. But it's the NFL. This happens every single week. If every favorite won every single game, the NFL would not be as big as it is. I probably wouldn't be doing this podcast right now as we speak. When you dug deep into this game, you found that this was indeed a trap game for the Steelers. So I saw this coming. Like, a lot of people called me crazy, and it was very understandable on paper why you would call me crazy. But I definitely saw this coming as a trap game for the Steelers and for a potential Brown upset, and that's what happened. And I said missing DK Metcalf was going to be a big loss. That was their top receiver, and in my comments on my TikTok, I was laughed at. I was called, "You're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. DK Metcalf isn't even our top receiver. Kenneth Gainwell is our top receiver." Really? Kenneth Gainwell is your top receiver? Well, if that's the case, your top receiver just got 3 catches for 12 yards. If you're going into a game with the idea that Kenneth Gainwell is your best receiver, good luck. If you're going to rely on Jaylen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell as your top offensive options, good luck. And I like both of those guys. I do. They're solid players. But when those are your top-end options, you're in big trouble. You are in trouble. It's honestly borderline delusion for the Steeler fans to think that they were going to be just fine without DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf is an important piece. He might not have that much production this season, but he draws a ton of attention because he can go 10 for 150 at any single moment. So this opens things up for Jaylen Warren and for Kenneth Gainwell and for Darnell Washington, who's now hurt. But this was a very tough loss for the Steelers. Now you have to go into Week 18 and beat the Ravens to win the AFC North. The Ravens were nearly out of it weeks ago. Out of the picture. This is such a Steelers thing to happen. So, no, I'm not a Steelers hater. I'm not a Ravens fan. I could honestly give two shits about either of those teams. I'm a Jets fan, and they suck, so I'm not even really a Jets fan anymore. But I totally understand why I was called crazy, why I was called insane. But it was a bold take, and it ended up being right. And I can't even really blame Aaron Rodgers, because who was he throwing the ball to? Scotty Miller? MVS? Darnell Washington got hurt in this game, so I lost him too. So it's going to be really tough for an offense with just Jaylen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell to succeed with that offense. Those are solid players, but they're not elite players. Jaylen Warren's a really good running back, but he's not an elite running back. Kenneth Gainwell is a great number 2 option, but he's not a leading receiving back. That was never his game. So tough loss, and now you have to go into Week 18 to play the Ravens. And I'm not going to lie, I thought Lamar's injury was less severe earlier in the week. I thought it was just a bruise and that he was going to be fine. I expected him to play. But I knew Jordan Love was going to be a huge question mark. They were saying he was in concussion protocol all week, but then when I saw him practicing it with limited practice, got a little worried, not going to lie. But then he was ruled out, and it became Malik Willis versus Tyler Huntley. And I knew Tyler Huntley would run the Baltimore offense well. He does every time he plays for Baltimore. Every time he starts as a Baltimore Raven, he's been effective. He's the perfect backup to Lamar Jackson, plays the game very well, and he doesn't turn the ball over. So this was a very easy game to predict. Hand it off to Derrick Henry over and over again and pray for the best. And that's kind of what happened here. And this is exactly how they should play moving forward, even when Lamar comes back, because they have to commit to Derrick Henry, even if they're down a score or two. If you have plenty of time left in the game and you're only down 1 score, maybe even 2 scores, you have to commit to Derrick Henry. We've seen it many times in the past where the Ravens become very pass happy and it kind of throws off the entire offense. We all remember that AFC Championship game against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs where they just got way too pass happy, didn't commit to the run, didn't have Derrick Henry at that time. I understand, but you've seen Tom Muckin and Lamar kind of get like this where they get a little pass happy, and Derrick Henry's got plenty of handoffs this season, don't get me wrong, but they have to lean into that, especially next week against Pittsburgh. On top of that, Lamar's been playing hurt all year, so he can't really run too much, so that's even more of a reason why you have to rely on Derrick Henry and utilize Derrick Henry. And if they do this, they can win the division next week, even with Tyler Huntley. Lamar Jackson's status is still up in the air, and I'm going to say it now. I'm going to take the Ravens with or without Lamar. I just don't trust the Steelers' offense right now. I don't like either defense, don't get me wrong, but I'll take Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, Mark Andrew, and Isaiah Likely over Jaylen Warren, Kenneth Gainwell, Pat Freiermuth, and MVS all day. All day. I like Baltimore's identity with Tyler Huntley at quarterback. Tyler Huntley has shown he can play in this offense. Every time he starts as a Baltimore Raven, he's been effective. Wasn't as effective on Miami, wasn't as effective in Cleveland, but Baltimore, he fits here. So that's my prediction. Week 18, I'm holding to what I predicted last week. We have Steelers-Ravens. I'm going to take the Ravens with or without Lamar because what they show me in that Green Bay game is they have an identity with Tyler Huntley. Run the ball, don't turn the ball over, play smart, and it worked. And I think it will work again against the Steelers. So that one I got right. Now, what I got wrong, I predicted the Rams to win out and both the Niners and Seahawks to lose at least one game. So I picked the Rams to win the NFC West. I was clearly wrong because that's not going to happen now since both Seattle and the Niners won in Week 17. Now, at least one of them is going to win out because they're playing each other in Week 18. So I had the Niners losing to the Bears, and it was close. Great game. It was close, but the Niners come out on top. And their offense has been elite. It was really good when Mac Jones was in there, and it's been elite since Brock Purdy came back. So can we please stop with the whole Mac Jones over Brock Purdy thing? Sure, maybe every quarterback works under Kyle Shanahan, but none of them have been this good. 11 touchdowns, 2 picks in the last 3 games. His mobility just adds another dimension to this offense. And sure, he's not as fast as Lamar, not as fast as Kyler Murray, but he can move, and he's quick, and he's a gunslinger, and I love gunslingers. It's always why I've been like a big Sam Darnold guy, but he can have terrible picks sometimes where you're like, what are you doing? But then he also has huge plays. So I'll take picks if you're throwing 3 to 4 touchdowns a game. If the offense plays like that, they can beat anyone. Unfortunately, their defense is awful. They have 0 pass rush, so many injuries. The fact that they're playing for the 1 seed in Week 18 is insane. Kyle Shanahan really deserves Coach of the Year, and I've been saying this all year. And I know he won't win it. Ben Johnson's going to win it, let's be honest. But what he's done this year with the amount of injuries they've had is just unheard of, completely unheard of. And now they have a shot at the 1 seed. And for the Seahawks, they had a weird game against the Panthers. In the end, Seattle's just way more talented than Carolina. Their offense has kind of been weird lately, though. 4 of the last 5 games, Darnold has not played too well. He's been turning the ball over a ton. The offense has been kind of inconsistent. But this Seattle Seahawks team, is just good at every position. They're not great at every position, but they're really good at pretty much every position. They don't have many holes. So they're pretty damn good. And now they also have a chance for the 1 seed in Week 18 against the 49ers. So we have Seahawks, 49ers for the 1 seed. I originally picked the 49ers to win this game. I picked them to win, but after watching them against Chicago, their defense can't stop anything. And sure, Sam Darnold can choke in big games and turn the ball over a lot, but I just don't find a way that the Seattle offense is going to struggle against that Niner defense. Sure, the Niners might score a bunch of points, but Seattle will too. And if Sam Darnold can clinch this 1 seed in this week, maybe we could put to bed the whole him choking in big game situation, because I still kind of don't trust him, even in that Rams game. Yes, he played great down the final stretch, but he put them in that position to almost lose the game with all his turnovers. So he's shown in a lot of big games that he turns the ball over, gets a little reckless. So until I see him prove that he could win a big game, I'm still going to be a little skeptical, but I'm going to pick the Seahawks here. I know I was talking about earlier in the podcast about how we can't always pick games just based on what's on paper, but this game, what's on paper is just too overwhelming. Like, I don't see a way that the Niners can stop that Seattle offense. And the Seattle defense is really good. So the Niners might score points, but they're going to stop them a couple times. So I'm going to take Seattle Seahawks in that game to get the 1 seed and to beat the 49ers. Last but not least, I predicted for the NFC South, Tampa Bay Bucs, Carolina Panthers. I said the Panthers would lose to the Seahawks and the Bucs would beat the Dolphins. They were going to Week 18, playing for the NFC South, Bucs, Panthers, and I picked the Bucs to beat the Panthers in Week 18. The Bucs end up losing to the Dolphins, and I've been saying all season, that team has been weird. Even in the beginning of the season, when they were winning games and Baker was having a lot of game-winning drives and playing great, I said something was off about this team. And no one wanted to believe me, but now you kind of see it. You've been seeing it multiple weeks. The Miami Dolphins just beat the Tampa Bay Bucs, and they have the same record now, 7-9. It's actually kind of crazy. And the Panthers, we knew that their talent just doesn't match up with the Seattle, even though they've been a good feisty team this season. So now we have Week 18, Carolina 8-8, Tampa Bay 7-9, but then you also have the Falcons 7-9. There's a weird situation where if the Falcons win this week, the Panthers win the division no matter what, because even if the Bucs win, it'd be a weird 8-9 three-way tie, and the Bucs would have the Panthers would have the tiebreaker. So the Bucs kind of screwed themselves here, and now the Falcons are going to be home at the Saints. So now my prediction has to include what Atlanta is going to do this week. The Saints have been feisty. The Saints have actually improved a lot. Tyler Shucks looked good. I think Kellen Moore is actually a good offensive head coach. It's tough. Kirk Cousins has been playing well. They're home. But I think I'm going to take the Saints in that game. Now we have Carolina and Tampa Bay, and it's really a toss-up. I had Tampa Bay winning this game, last week when I predicted this game. But Tampa Bay has just been so up and down. I don't trust them right now. Carolina, Bryce Young's weird, man, because he might be the weirdest player in the league because he'll have individual plays where you're like, that was something special. But then he'll also have individual plays where you're like, what are you doing, man? So you have two teams that are kind of just like, you don't trust either team, right? Am I going to stay with my gut and go with Tampa Bay, or am I going to change and go to Carolina? Even though I have my doubts about them, I still think I'm going to go with the Bucs in Week 18. I think Baker is finally going to put everything together and have a solid game. And maybe, who knows, maybe he has a signature moment in his career in Week 18 here. Game-winning drive, comeback, I don't know. But between the two shit shows, I'll take what I think is the little bit of a lesser shit show right now in the Bucs rather than the Panthers, because Bryce Young is really a roller coaster, and I trust Baker more than Bryce Young. It really is tough, though. These are two teams that are probably neck and neck right now, so it really could go either way. But I'm going to put my trust in my gut from last week and go with Tampa Bay. So that's it, guys. Let's see how this week plays out. Hopefully I get some more predictions right. Maybe I get some wrong, but that's okay, too. I'll see you guys next week after the finale of this regular season. Take care. Goodbye.